Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm James from eDirectory, and we're really excited about our webinar today. We're going to talk a little bit about AI, specifically for SEO and content marketing. Hot topic today, so we're really excited to talk about this, and thanks for joining. So I'm James, I'm the CEO of the company, and with us today we have Emerson and Gabriel from our marketing team who are going to help with this presentation. Welcome. And before we get started, I guess first just a couple quick logistics. If anybody has any questions or comments during the webinar, just pop them into the chat. And we will stop periodically and answer the questions, as well as at the end of the presentation, we'll have more time to answer whatever you need with regard to this topic or anything else. Feel free to ask us. Also, we are recording this webinar and we will post a copy of it to our blog, typically within tomorrow morning, within 24 hours or so. We edit it and post it up to the website. So if you want to review later, just go to eDirectory.com, our website, and you can see the recording of this webinar. For anybody that's new here, just a quick background on the eDirectory platform. This is the product that we sell. eDirectory is a platform to build directory-style websites and mobile apps, basically online guides. People use it for all sorts of industries and purposes, everything from local guides to niche industry directories, a lot of different niche guides, industrial, all sorts of things, helping people make purchase decisions. Essentially a bunch of listings. People can search and filter the listings. It'll support millions of listings. The system is highly customizable. We have a sort of a no-code solution where you can get into the admin interface and use widgets to configure things, import all your data. We also have the source code available as well if you do want to do customization, integrate it with an existing system, with a CRM, all sorts of things. And we have integrated mobile apps, native iPhone, Android mobile apps. So if anybody wants to learn more about the platform, just reach out and we can have an account manager give a private demo to you and show you the system and explain how it might be able to fit your needs. Great. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about AI today, artificial intelligence, specifically about SEO and content marketing. I'm sure you've seen it all over the news. It seems to be everywhere in the news these days. So first, what is it? What is artificial intelligence? Basically, ability to mimic human behavior. It's a very complex algorithm and systems that allow this to happen, and applications in all sorts of different specific areas. There's a number of types of AI, sort of things that are counted as in the sphere of artificial intelligence. Machine learning or ML, deep learning, computer vision, which is things like a computer can recognize, different things like a bicycle crossing the road, which helps with, autonomous driving that these companies are working on. Natural language processing is a big area of research. And within this is this new model that came out, these large language models that have become very, very famous over the last 6-8 months as things have been released as far as that goes. So what can they do? What can AI do today? It can do a lot of different things. It can be applied to a lot of different things. The very basics are, it can generate text. You can have conversations with it. It can answer questions for you. It can create images. It can see images actually, and a big thing it can do is actually give you ideas. So hopefully it'll be helpful for this. And one of the questions I've gotten already over the last couple of months is, wow, this AI is coming, and what impact is it going to have on us and our digital business and all of that? If AI can do this, all of this, will people need websites anymore? will we even have jobs? People have asked. You've seen AI; it's able to write code for people, do all sorts of amazing things. And these are really great questions. What's going to happen in the future? And I think really what we're actually very, very fortunate, all of us, both our company and you and everybody around today. We need to surf this wave. We need to get out in front of it and take advantage of it and see what we can use it for. It's sort of like, oh, we have calculators now. We don't need to learn math anymore. Those type of things. And that's not it at all. With the calculator, you can do a lot of the grunt work in math very quickly and easily and provide a much higher value than that. So think about this. Everybody in this whole industry of sort of digital media, digital marketing, anything you're doing online, this is a huge opportunity right now to use these tools and get out in front of them and see what you can do and see what you can your core business proposition or whatever you're trying to do. You can use these tools to make things happen better, faster, quicker. So be optimistic. One of the most famous ones that came out actually is ChatGPT, which many of you have heard. And it's from a company called OpenAI. The history there is pretty interesting. OpenAI was actually founded by a group of sort of Silicon Valley luminaries, including Elon Musk, Sam Altman, and a few other people. They founded a group, I think it's nearly 10 years ago, actually. They've been sort of working almost in silence for a number of years. And then over the last couple of years, they came out with a couple of things. And then ChatGPT came out. Actually, DALL-E, their image generator, came out probably first. And then the ChatGPT came out and it was so amazing that it really grabbed all the headlines and all the attention with people saw what can happen. So OpenAI is a group. It was originally a nonprofit. They did a deal with Microsoft recently, reported for like $10 billion to help there. So essentially Microsoft controls that group. One comment I heard actually was that, there's all these big tech companies are sort of behind a lot of this technology because it's extraordinarily expensive. One thing is just the researchers and the talent in this field. They supposedly earn about as much as like NFL football players. The scientists and the programmers that create this stuff. On the other side of it, training the algorithms behind it costs millions and millions and millions of dollars, and so these cloud services and all of that. That's why Microsoft and they have this huge cloud that's able to train these algorithms against billions of parameters, and it costs millions of dollars, hundreds of millions maybe to do this stuff. So you need a lot of capital. You need to be big. Anyway, so what is ChatGPT? It is a generative pre-trained transformer. It gives you a conversational experience. You can talk to it, write questions, and it'll answer. And then you can talk about what you just asked. You can say, refine this, etc. It is trained on a diverse range of publicly available sources. Basically, it's read and seen everything you can possibly imagine. The whole Wikipedia, whatever else, I don't know. It's probably, browsed all sorts of web indexes. And it really is amazing. If you haven't used it with your own hands, I highly recommend doing that, and really testing it and seeing what you can use. As soon as you jump in there, I remember the first time I saw it, I was just like, wow, this is amazing. OpenAI has a number of other things that they do. The DALL-E is an image generator. You can tell it things and it just creates an image for you based on what you told it, which is amazing. I remember when I saw that, it blew my mind as well. And behind this is all the GPT. They have different versions of it. The 3.5, I think, was the new, and then the 4.0, et cetera, is coming, and all of that sort of thing. Behind it is sort of the core algorithm, and then these pieces are sort of built on top of it. Google's algorithm, Bard, they just recently released it. OpenAI came out quickly, and they sort of got all the headlines initially because they were out early. And they could do that, I think, because they didn't have a huge revenue source or a huge, they weren't earning all their money off of search, and they weren't a huge company, a huge target. where they needed to make sure that their algorithm wasn't going to scare people or do inappropriate things, et cetera. So ChatGPT came out first, but from what I've seen, Google's is very, very advanced as well. And supposedly Google had, Google's been working on this for, I don't know, since probably very early in Google, and they just haven't done very much publicly. There are probably a lot of elements from AI that they use behind the scenes with their CAPTCHA stuff, their search results, other things there as well. But they did release Bard, their search, their ChatGPT sort of competitor is out there. You can log in and test it. Internationally, we've seen it still isn't giving access to everybody, but supposedly they're supposed to be available in 180 countries already in various languages. One of the things is Google's is already connected to their web index, so it has sort of a feeling like it's connected to the internet, where ChatGPT still says I have information from 2021, that type of thing in it as well. Facebook and Amazon also are working on their own large language models. Facebook actually did something very interesting. I think there was some, they released publicly their large model, which is trained on, I'm sure, all of their social data and all sorts of other things as well. And a lot of what I've read is people in the field that aren't affiliated with these large corporations are taking Facebook's and sort of building off it and testing it and trying to see what it can do, whereas the other ones are closed up at this point. And Amazon hasn't been too public, but I know they're working on it as well. And there's just a lot of interesting things going on today, sort of in the area. So anyway, how do you use it? And basically, at the beginning, there are these prompts. You essentially interact with it via text. So the prompts are the initial instructions that you give to it, and they're essential for sort of guiding the model and shaping the direction of its output. The prompts that you write, you want them to be specific, relevant, and you can do follow-up prompts as well. They'll remember what you wrote previously. You can say, oh, you just told me this. I don't think that's correct. Can you refine that, and tell me a little bit more about that piece of it? Just a quick example. This is DALL-E, which is OpenAI's image generator. The prompt that I wrote here, just make a red horse climbing up the Eiffel Tower at sunrise. And this is what it came up with. I don't know if the horse is quite climbing up. I probably could have written a follow-up, make the horse climbing up the side of the Eiffel Tower, and it might have actually the horse climbing up. But still, that's just absolutely amazing that they can do this. It'll do photorealistic images. You can say, do it in the style of Pablo Picasso, etc. I saw a very interesting Twitter post just recently that said this one used a different image generator called Midjourney, which is another one that's pretty famous, but it's same thing as DALL-E's, OpenAI's thing. And basically it said the prompts were getting it to create images, photo images of professors from different departments at university. Like, what does an economics professor look like, versus an environmentalist, versus a writing seminars professor, versus a biochemist, et cetera. And it was really fascinating to see what came out from the sort of the stereotypical, the professor looks. And it was pretty interesting, pretty amazing actually, that they made these images of people that looked real, that have never even existed for that. So anyway, that's a little bit of background, I guess, on OpenAI in general. Our company, Arca Solutions, which is the company behind our eDirectory product, we are working hard on it and seeing what we can do to leverage it to help you, build your businesses, build your traffic, build your build everything you're doing with it. There's a couple key areas and we're hoping to have a release. I don't have an exact date yet, but hopefully it won't be too long, with a couple simple integrations on it that help build out some content for you, help verify content, build out content. And also we're looking at it for doing things like responding to reviews and, those kind of automated things as well. Certainly a lot of opportunity in the area, and we'll have more details. I can't give away too much of specifically what we're working on, but we will have more details in the coming weeks about this, and we do have a team working hard on it. It's really an amazing opportunity. So the next question is just like, what can you use AI for right now to help build out your site and your business? Certainly, there's a lot of different things that you can do with it right now today. You know, you can get off the webinar and get started, and use it sort of like that calculator that helps you do the math problems to get your homework or whatever done quicker. So AI for building your directory. One thing you can use it for is helping write listing descriptions and info. For that, you can sort of write a prompt, and we're working on this as well to have it sort of built in, you know, where you can do this in scale more easily, or just improve the grammar and things. But already you can type in prompts that'll help you write listing descriptions and information about it. Also general site content, like if you need some help writing blog entries, etc. You can certainly, you know, do that. It'll help you do that. Search engine optimization is another big thing where you can look at your content and what you're doing there, and it'll help you write, you know, keyword lists and other things as well. Ad copy, if you need help write ads, if you're either running ads or you have ads in your directory site or whatever you're doing, you know, for advertising. It can help you write that, and just marketing content in general to help you sell listings, email templates, whatever else you could possibly think of, you can do. And one thing I just want to be very, very clear about here is the way to use this is as a tool right now. It's not just going to do all the work for you and you're just done, put it in and paste it up, because you can still tell it's like, it's a little bit cookie cutter. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't, I mean, it's often the stuff is really, really well written, but you can sort of get a feeling like, oh, that was written by ChatGPT, that type of thing. So, but it's great at generating ideas and helping you get started. And so what we recommend is typically, is what you want to do is take all these tools, get all the content, and then you got to make it your brand. You got to make it have an angle. You got to make it have some personality and make it your own. And so do that work. At the end of the day, a lot of these algorithms are out there surfing the internet and picking up content and information. And so you can use them to help write your content and information, but really it's that brand and that personality that you can use. And then you may get your information, you know, filter back in there and become sort of the leader in the area, the sort of thought leader with the specific segment that you're building your guide or your directory on. Auto replies, and we're hoping to work on that as well as future product feature. Here's a couple quick examples, and then what I'm going to do is turn it over to Gabriel. That's actually going to pull up ChatGPT and give some examples of how to use it, and then we're certainly open to answering questions for people. So AI for basic SEO, you can do keyword research ideas. You can tell it things like, give me a list of informational long tail keywords that I can use to ideate blog posts for whatever. Generate improved meta descriptions. It'll do that work for you, write meta descriptions, that type of thing. For content marketing, blog post ideas, you can use it for writing and improving blog posts. Like if you have a post yourself, you could put it in there. It does a really good job at sort of these large language models, these AIs, they basically took every English class you could possibly imagine, college level English, you could think of it. And so they're pretty good about writing sort of well-structured grammar. So you can use it to improve your blog posts as well. You can, hey, put this post in. Can you improve this paragraph for me? What can we do to elaborate on this section? That type of thing with it. Writing emails and subject lines, it'll do that for you. Again, with the email is something where you can often do A/B testing and that type of thing on it. So don't just, use it and forget about it, but use it as a tool. Call to actions on buttons on your websites, headlines, etc. You can use it to filter for tone, like ChatGPT. You can say, write me a description of this restaurant in the style of Bob Dylan. Of course, you would never want to do that, but it will actually write the restaurant description like a Bob Dylan song. So you can use this thing in a certain way, to make it sound like a New York Times. It may even, I don't know if it does, but somebody should check that. If it does, they will write it like a New York Times, a New York Times restaurant reviewer. Copyrights and ads for social media. Oh, and I just saw a question pop in, which is a really great question that I do want to answer. So the question here is, once you get penalized if you end up with duplicate content? Yes, duplicate content, you're going to get penalized. There's a couple pieces to this, though. These large language models, they have a little bit of randomness built into them. So if you ask it the same question various times in a row, it will actually spit out a slightly different result to that one way. But also, if you write the prompt, that's a very unique prompt, what comes out of there will be unique as well. So you can get around, it's not just going to give you the same, it doesn't respond with the same thing every time. And as you test it, you'll see how that works. The second answer I want to give you on that, though, is it's really important that you take whatever comes out of it and put it in your own voice. That is really, really important. And so it has your own voice, your own feeling of your website, your own brand, et cetera. Yeah, another great question just came in. Have you found a way to scrape or prompt ChatGPT to gather listing data? Yes, it'll do this. It's kind of interesting. You can put in a thing like, give me the top 10 restaurants in Miami. But what it'll tell you is ChatGPT specifically will tell you we only have data from 2021, et cetera. But here are a couple, and it will give you some restaurants, which may or may not be the restaurants there. But yes, this is another area that you can use it for. Google's will do a better job of doing this data for you as far as that goes. The thing I do want you to keep in mind is that area, like your website, and I've told everybody that's built a directory that I've ever talked to since the beginning of this company, you don't just want to use commoditized data that's everywhere. So whatever ChatGPT or something tells you, it's going to give you this data, but you need to curate it. You need to put in your own info on it. You really need to build it out, and you can use ChatGPT to do that, but there's some work to do that. But hopefully ChatGPT will help you build your data and make the data unique and do it in scale faster than somebody else can. And at the end of the day, you need to do it in such a way that people want to come to your website and see what you have to say, and they're curious about it and interested in it, and they have a great user experience there for it. So the answer is yes. And as time goes, it's going to be a very great way to build listing data. And that's one area actually that we've really been focused on is what can we use it for in terms of building out data, finding different data fields about certain piece of information, et cetera. And it will do that. So great questions there. Content marketing prompts, another area you can use it. Write a comprehensive guide to whatever topic, create an in-depth analysis, explain the benefits of, describe the history of. The text is long, and then you can give it a follow-up. This text is long, but I don't like the repetitive writing style, and then it'll change it up a little bit for you. But you can't just take what comes out, and we're still at the very beginning of all this AI, even though they've been working on AI for 20-30. Actually, when I have a computer engineering degree, and I remember taking a natural language processing class. This was in the when was that? Man, that was in the late 90s. And it was all math. It was all math with letters, no numbers in that. And at the end of it, I couldn't really get my head around the whole thing, to be honest with you, just because there wasn't practical outcome like there is today. Now you can see how this stuff works. And I never went through PhD level or any of this stuff as far as that goes. But yeah, you can use this stuff, use it as a tool. So now before we take questions, actually, we're gonna turn it over to Gabriel, who is gonna give us some specific. He's just gonna show us a couple prompts that you can possibly use to build your directory. So Gabriel.
Okay, everybody. Good day, everyone. So basically, I will just show you a hands-on part here using ChatGPT for those of you who have never seen it before. This is ChatGPT on screen. All you have to do is just sign up. You can use your Google account, or you can just create an account to use it.
Yeah, and it's
And
at openai.com is the website for
that's right.
ChatGPT.
That is right. Yes, you can go to openai.com and register there, and you're gonna be ready to use it anytime. It's pretty stable now. I mean, last month or in the beginning, it was unstable, so you had to wait for people to stop using so you can start using. But now it's very stable. And once you get in, you will be seeing all of these cards. These are all ready prompts that the community created. Okay, so you can, if you have no idea what to do, here's a hint of where you could start. In our case, since we are talking about the online directory world, or membership websites, classified ads websites, so I will start with some prompts that might be useful for you. It's certainly useful for us on our side as well as content creators for our blog, for example, for our ads, ad copies and stuff. Meta descriptions is something that we are always doing on this side, so it might be helpful for you. For example, we are always looking for keywords to write, to have new blog post ideas, for example. You can suit that for your niche, your specific niche, for a local site, for a local search site, for example, or tourism or restaurants or hotels or something like that. For example, this is a pretty straightforward prompt that I can just copy and paste here, saying, give me 10 blog post ideas for online directory websites. Okay, this is let's say a real test. Let's see what comes out of it. You can select tone. Right now, since we are using the free level tier here, we just have 2, but you can upgrade for more. Okay, I will just hit default here and see what comes out of it. So, like in no time, it will give me, ChatGPT will give me 10 ideas with that keyword that I mentioned, online directory websites, that I can use. Or, okay, maybe you can go for a brainstorm session that I can have here in the marketing team to see if that works for me. But just as easy as that, it gave me 10 ideas. So as James was mentioning, it's a tool to allow you to get, faster results. I wouldn't go and just straight copy and paste this to anywhere else. I would go and analyze that to make it to check and see if that is really useful for my niche, for example. But yeah, straight away just gave me 10 ideas that I could work for. For example, a listing description, that is a big one that everybody's always trying to come up with good listings, descriptions using the keywords and with correct numbers and addresses and stuff like that. I have one ready here that it's a prompt that says, create a 200-word listing description for Mango's Tropical Cafe. This is a real business. So you can have, let's say you have a client that is listed, that has a website that is on Google already. ChatGPT can actually go to that website, search on the web for their current information. But as we mentioned before, it won't be able to find like a real actual information. So you might have to double check that on your customer's website to see if everything is correct. Okay. I gave it the address and I gave it the phone number, and I'm asking for the specialties and their working hours. Yeah, and in no time, it gives me a description following the parameters that I set in the prompt. It's giving me the opening hours right now, the working hours.
Yeah, and some of this data, like the working hours, may not be accurate. So yeah, I don't think you can even use that at this point. In the future, that probably will be more accurate.
Yes.
As far as that goes, yeah.
It's a limitation of the tool. Okay, but anyway, you can definitely use the writing because the description is pretty good, but you may have to double check the information regarding business hours and stuff like that. Okay. Another good one is, let's say, for copywriting. Some of you may already been advertising on Google Ads or Facebook Ads, And sometimes you have to create multiple ad groups with multiple ads, and then you have to write your copy based on certain keywords that you are trying to rank for and compete for against your competition. So ChatGPT is pretty good at that too. For example, I created one prompt that says write Google Ads headlines and descriptions for the keyword Newark Online. Let me get Newark Online, which is an online business directory with the best listings for restaurants and hotels in Newark, New Jersey. Okay, so this doesn't exist. It's just something that I made up just for the sake of this presentation. And I gave a brief description saying that the business, what it is, and what you can find there. Okay, let's see what comes out of it. So it's giving me the headlines. These are the main ad titles that will appear on the Google search. And the description is the long line below that. Okay, so yeah, just gave me a few, like 3 options that I could choose from. Once again, I would never copy and paste straight on Google Ads because I don't trust it. I had to check to see if it understood what I'm of it. Okay, but definitely give me some suggestions that I could go forward and save time so I can do more. I don't know, maybe other ads that I'm trying to work with, but it gave me some good suggestions here.
Yeah, great.
Great. Same example for just a little more concise. I'm asking for 6 headlines for Facebook ads with the theme find the best restaurants in Newark. So once again, it will create these 6 headlines for me. Super fast. That is one simple test you can all try to do there. Another one that we get a lot of questions is to create emails and subject lines. This one is a little bit more intricate. I have to give some more information about it, about the business, or for example, here what I'm asking is to create a short email inviting the subscriber to claim a listing on my website, and then I put a blank space for a website name. And also mention the importance of claiming a listing related to their business, especially so the listing owner can keep it up to date and be part of our best of yearly selection inside your category and collect more reviews. So this one's a little bit more intricate. Let's see what comes out of it. It will give me an inspiration of an email template that I can that you can fire to your newsletter base.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what these things can do.
Yes, and of course you can change the tone and you can say, okay, write it again in a more formal way. Let's say if you have a more formal business, you're in lawyer or something like that. Yes, and it wrote me, you can make it shorter if you want to. For example, okay, make it shorter. And we'll try to use less words. And again, maybe this is not ideal for you, but you can always go back and try to fine-tune the message that you want to get from ChatGPT. But as a tool, it writes pretty good English. So that's pretty amazing by itself. And here is a fully written email template that you can use to try to make your users claim their listings in no time. I mean, super amazing what it can do.
Yeah, these things are amazing. You can also take it the other way where you say, hey, look at this text for an email. Can you summarize this in bullet points?
Yes, exactly.
Which is pretty somewhat fascinating. And the Google one, I believe, will actually summarize videos. Like you could put in a YouTube link and say, tell me what happened in this video, and it'll like write out text about what happened in the video. Pretty spectacular what they're able to do these days.
That is amazing. Yes, definitely. And the last one I would like to show you guys is if you run articles. Articles and blog posts are a great way to drive more organic traffic to your online directory. So you have to consider making use of that section on eDirectory, because you can go straight to the pain point of users that are searching for on the web, whatever niche you have. And with ChatGPT, it can create blog posts for you. I created a simple prompt here that says, create a blog post about local search websites. On my case here, you have to change that for your niche. Using an active voice, write over 1,000 words, and the blog post should be in a beginner's guide style, and a title and subtitle for each section. Sometimes it will ignore the counting of the words, it will do less. So you have to balance that and see if it comes close to your solution, then that's fine, okay? It will never be exact, like I doubt it will give me like exactly 1,000 words. And it's giving me right away the title, subtitle, and the paragraphs. And once again, I would never just copy and paste that and paste on my directory website. I would read through it and see if that makes sense for me, if isn't a duplicate content from somewhere else. And it's also giving me the conclusion, and that's it. You have a blog post done, pretty much.
That's great.
Okay, so yes, the thing here is try to understand what this tool can do for your niche, for your type of website or online business, and try to leverage that to create good content or help you to write good descriptions, good articles, in order to improve your SEO, your online presence. And yeah, this is what I had prepared on prompt side. I will stop sharing here.
Okay. No, that's fantastic. And one thing I just wanted to mention after you've seen that is that these language models, they have a tendency often, they might come out and generate, just sort of marketing fluff. Just like words, you're reading it, it doesn't really have a voice or something. So I really want to reinforce that it's really important that you use these as tools and then add your own sort of piece and style on top of it. And one great thing to do is when you're building directories is feature people. Think about how the NBA and professional sports teams do their marketing. They try to find a star. They're always trying to make a star with the story behind them and tell that story. And it really gets people engaged on a personal level. So whatever you're doing, don't just write about, say, the business, but think about the people behind it and who they are. Try to figure out who they are and try to incorporate some of that real personality into your writing, because that draws interest from people. Well, great. Let's hop over to the questions now at this point. Let me see. We had a question. Can you copy and paste the prompts in here? We're gonna have, these are very, very basic prompts where you can probably just write them. I don't know if it's even worth pasting them in here, but we're gonna have a resource out on our blog very, very soon, like maybe tomorrow, with some sample prompts, right, Gabriel? Maybe we'll post that up with the video tomorrow. We'll put some basic prompts that you can use with these up there tomorrow. Let's see. Next comment or question from Kel Thompson. I've used simplified.com, which is pretty good. I feel like ChatGPT in its various forms. I'm not super savvy, and I downloaded the iPhone app briefly. What is the main site for ChatGPT for generating content? Do you have to pay for it, or is it free? No, not a stupid question at all. Yeah, so you can go to openai.com, and log in there, and then they'll give you access to both the ChatGPT as well as DALL-E, and then they have an API as well for that. They have a free version and they do have a paid version. I think the paid version isn't super advantageous at this point to pay for it, but it's nominally priced. I think it's like $20 a month or something. It's not very expensive if you do want to pay for it. When they first launched, they had enormous demand, and just like their site was saying, hey, we're overloaded right now, come back later. But they fixed that, and you're not seeing that too much anymore. So maybe try the free version, and then if you want to use some of the advanced features like changing tone of the text, you can pay a little bit for that as well. And then I think one of the other paid things is if you're using API access, and then they limit the number of calls and that type of thing on it if you're doing it programmatically. Will it give you email addresses that are correct? No, I don't believe it. I think it stays away from that kind of thing. They really tried to keep the like ask ChatGPT, how do I take over the world or whatever, and it has these rails on it on what it'll do, and I think it won't do email harvesting for you. For that, you can probably do that other ways through buying lists or doing Google searches or etc. As far as that goes. Is there an AI or ChatGPT incorporated into eDirectory already? The current release, it's not in there yet, but we are working on it. We have a team of people working on the integration and hope to have pretty good integration soon. But I think even with our integration, you're probably going to want to use it, like a tool as you're building your content and stuff on the side as well. But yes, we are working hard on an integration for it. Could you drop the various sites you're referring to into the chat so we have direct links for that? Yeah, maybe Gabriel, if you could drop in, or Emerson, links to OpenAI and Google's Bard, just so people can check those two out.
Sure.
Facebook, they released a nice article with some links there, but it's more for researchers instead of others. And then there are a number of these other solutions that you'll see out there. They're actually just built on top of GPT, of OpenAI's product, using OpenAI's API. So they have their own name, but it's actually OpenAI behind it. One example of that actually is Snapchat. The app that the kids use, the social networking app. They built their stuff using OpenAI behind it, is behind the scenes for Snapchat's AI stuff there. So great. Another great question on who owns the copyright on the content that comes out of these sites. That is a great question. I don't know. I mean, that's probably something we should have researched before this and given a better answer. What I do know, from what I know, like, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give any legal advice, just to make that up front. There's something about like doing derivative works with copyright. And so like probably if you edit the stuff, you're able to possibly get a copyright on it. I think it comes out and it's not necessarily copyrighted at the time on it for that. That's probably something to research. Emerson, why don't we note that, and we'll research that and come up with some comments in that for our next run on AI type of webinars as far as that goes.
Okay.
I came late. Was the blog post generated using ChatGPT directly or a plugin for eDirectory? It was generated using ChatGPT. We're working on the plugin stuff for that as well. Is AI an extension of Siri on my phone? So Siri AI is just artificial intelligence in general, and then what we were using here was OpenAI's product, ChatGPT, which is totally different than Siri on your iPhone. Siri would be an AI on the iPhone, but it's been pretty well maligned. Like, people, it's pretty bad. I have an iPhone and the Siri is pretty terrible. I mean, it'll do stuff like set an alarm for 2 p.m. or something, or answer basic questions, but it doesn't do anything like these models do. And supposedly Apple has another group working on more advanced things, and so that that may be different, but it's somewhat similar to that. Okay, great. Some people already posted some of this. We had a great question. Is ChatGPT sentient, which means is it sort of like feeling alive and becoming alive and all of that? I think the official answer at this point would probably be no, but you could talk to this thing. You may have your doubts of like what's coming. And really I've spent a lot of time just thinking about this and like, where's the world going and what's going to happen. And you almost feel like they found a way to make these computers learn like children. Like they send them more information, like send them to math class, and then they can do math. I mean, you can ask them very, very advanced word questions like, I have 24 eggs and 5 people coming to the party and I need to bake 3 cakes. How many eggs, blah, blah, blah. And it'll like do the problem, explain it for you. And I mean, it's really pretty amazing. I don't think they're quite there yet, but I think they're going to get there, you know, and the world may be pretty weird in the future. However, at the end of the day, I'm an optimist. And so far in this life, in this world, through recent history, technology advances have brought mankind just a much, much greater lifestyle. And I hope and I expect that to continue. But I do see why people are worried. And I think anybody using one of these, you know, you will see that, you know, there is some concern, and yeah, they probably do need some regulation. But I think one of the other good thing potentially is that the amount of resources and knowledge that you need to sort of program behind the scenes on these is pretty advanced. And so these kind of crazy people that are, you know, out there shooting up places in the US anyway, they're probably not able to, you know, to take these and use them, so, you know, quite yet, or certainly not build them. So I'm optimistic on what's going to happen in the future with all of this, and I hope all of you just look at it as you know, as we are, which is sort of an opportunity to see what we can do and move things faster with what we're doing now, and looking for new opportunities as well. Okay, let's see. Oh, we got an answer on the copyright. You own the content per chat terms and conditions. Okay, great. So check the terms and conditions. Yeah, it's probably buried in there somewhere. Another comment, copyright is intrinsic to the creator. This is probably different. Yeah. So great. Yeah, some great comments on there. A comment about how it can be fooled. I had to check when it uses we and us, and then say, oh, well, yeah. And it does make mistakes. And if you check, especially if you check Twitter and see some, you know, if you're curious about things, you can go into Twitter and ask about, because there's a lot of information and people popping up with examples of prompts and all sorts of things, trying to sort of short circuit it and make it say terrible things and whatever else. It's pretty interesting. So check out Twitter if you're curious as to what it can do, but certainly the algorithms are still not 100% perfect, and it's probably going to be some time, but things appear to be moving pretty quick in the industry. Another comment, if we need help setting up our site, is there a direct contact person or number we can get in touch with for assistance? Yeah, so we have a support team that's pretty good. Emerson, if you could just note here, and we can follow up after the webinar directly, but we have a support team that's available on eDirectory.com. You can go there and there's live chat and we answer emails. And we do have phone as well. We also have a setup service if you just want to have it set it up sort of professionally. We have a setup service package where our team will build out 20 listings and import your data and, you know, put up your logo and do all that stuff for you as well. So we'll reach out to you and just see what you need. If it's just some support stuff, no problem there. If you want us to configure and set everything up, we have a service for that as well. When are you throwing out some eDirectory coupons again? I've seen some of my email, but didn't take advantage of them. That's Emerson's department. We'll see what we can do for you. We'll see if we can get you a deal, you know, to sign up. And it's good. I just want to tell everybody, you know, when you're getting these directory sites, things always take longer to build out the content and do all that. So it's a good idea to get started, get things moving, get things going as soon as you can. Thanks, guys. Well, thanks, Steph, for joining us today. Let's see, another comment. Data used on ChatGPT is a few years old, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Yes, absolutely. Output is shown to be flawed. Important to fact check everything. One way to get better content is to ask ChatGPT to reference regarded URLs. Oh, that's a great comment there from Scott Davis. Is you can ask it what's the reference or source from this. And I've heard a lot of people using these for all sorts of things. Like one blog that I read from an economist he recommends using it when you're reading whatever book, history, any nonfiction type book. And then as you're going through, you can ask it about characters and all of that. Sort of use it as a research assistant, which is the same way you can use it when you're writing articles as well. Well, great. Well, thanks everybody, I guess, for joining. If there aren't any more questions, thanks for joining us today. We have a couple more webinars coming up what are the next webinars? Sorry, I already closed down my presentation, but we have a couple more coming up in the next 2 weeks. What's up next? Do you know, Emerson, offhand?
Yeah, on the 31st, we're going to talk about marketplace and booking features, so we can how to use this better to improve your listing detail page. And next, we'll have another webinar about features and plans to increase revenue, because there is a lot of built-in features for listings, classifieds, etc. So it's a matter of setting this up nicely, so you can drive more revenue to your premium plans. Also, another one about creating sponsorship opportunities. And the next one will be about leveraging the mobile app feature. It's a very good one for eDirectory. Let me just copy and paste the link here on chat so people can sign up in advance.
Okay, great.
Okay, here it is.
Great, there's a link there. And if anybody needs a product demo or has any questions about anything, you can reach out to us. The emails are in the chat there. If you want to, have an account manager talk about what you're doing and see what we can help with, we're available. So thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.